And I think that's important. I would say this, and again, when I talk about free speech, I don't think that I should be the person that decides what the boundaries are. I don't know how narrow or broad the boundaries should be. I do know that when you don't have any boundaries, you don't have free speech. You have shouting, you have free shouting, but no one's really speaking to each other. The whole idea, like free speech is the idea of free market ideology, just with speech. And we know that free market needs regulation. Even though it's an ideal, the free market is amazing. And the same thing goes for speech. But for me, I just think pragmatically. And and I agree with you with the ideals, but I think pragmatically. When people think about how did Auschwitz happen, and they work their way backwards, and they talk about 1939, then we talk about Nuremberg Rules 1935. Well, how did that happen? We talk about 1933 and the rise to power. And how did that happen? And they go all the way back to the putsch, the attempted putsch of 1923. It always goes back to, it started with speech. It doesn't start with throwing a punch. It doesn't start with a shooting or a killing. It starts always with rhetoric. And I don't think that we have the luxury to wait and see. I don't think, and I may be wrong here. I'm not saying that I'm, the moral authority here, but I don't think that we have the luxury to wait and see what that speech happens, and then when the speech becomes violent, meaning like it actually leads to actions, then something will happen. And we do know, once a Columbia student will be badly injured, a Jewish Columbia student will be badly injured, the president will do something. I don't want to wait till that. One of the things, but again, and maybe this is a cultural thing, the United States, there's more guns than people. That's a fact. It only takes one or two people to be inspired by the speech and act. Now people will tell you, well, if we have free speech on all sides, then people will hear one side, will hear the other side, and advance each other out. That's not how things work right now. Right now, a student hears a pro-Hamas professor, which we have several on campus, not just spew out lies, but actually motivate them, indoctrinate them to hate. Then they'll go to a protest where they'll hear the same things. Then they'll go online and they'll Google the things that then Al Jazeera will tell them what they want. Al Jazeera, funded by Qatar, who's also funding Hamas. Right? They can create an entire existence where they only hear what they want to hear, and then that leads to action. I just want this to end. I don't want this to escalate. I don't want to be needed in any panel. And I think wait and see is not a strategy for me. But again, I may be wrong. I don't know.